An 1875 image of Frederick August Bartholdi, the creator of the Statue of Liberty, posing with a visitor while the statue was under construction inside a Paris studio. The head of the Statue of Liberty, on display in a park in Paris, France, in 1883. Men in a workshop hammer sheets of copper for the construction of the Statue of Liberty in 1883. The assemblage of the Statue of Liberty in Paris, showing the bottom half of the statue under scaffolding, with the head and torch at its feet, photographed in 1883. The right arm and torch of the Statue of Liberty on display at the Centennial Exposition in Philadelphia. An elevation showing the statue's iron framework, designed by Gustave Eiffel. A diagram of the statue's dimensions. The Statue of Liberty's head on display at the Paris World's Fair. The internal frame is assembled. The internal frame is assembled. The fully assembled statue towers over its workshop and the surrounding buildings. The statue is formally unveiled to the United States ambassador to France before being shipped to New York. Original caption, New York, NY, Statue of Liberty toes and base of torch on the ground, preparatory to being hoisted into position onto the pedestal on Bedloes Island. Photograph circa 1885. The inauguration of the Statue of Liberty, Liberty Enlightening the World, in New York Harbor, on October 28, 1886. A military and naval salute marked the event, presided over by U.S. President Grover Cleveland. Looking down at the statue from its torch, circa 1890. The text of the poem entitled The New Colossus, by Emma Lazarus, mounted on the base of the Statue of Liberty. The sonnet was written in 1883 and donated to help raise money for the statue's pedestal. The text was later cast in bronze and mounted in 1903. The Statue of Liberty greets the 2nd Division as it arrives in New York City on August 8, 1919. The island that the statue now stands on was previously occupied by Fort Wood, a U.S. military fortification. By the late 1880s, the fort was becoming obsolete, and part of the land was given over to the statue. Here, a view of the Statue of Liberty, standing above workers in Fort Wood, circa 1918. Military aircraft fly over the Statue of Liberty, circa 1935. In 1946, refugee children gaze at the Statue of Liberty from the railing of a boat. Original caption, June 20, 1946, New York. An unidentified visitor to the Statue of Liberty notes on an interior girder his name and his wife's name. Many visitors to Bedloes Island, on which Miss Liberty is located, use lipstick to mark their names or initials. A view of the statue taken at night, during a blackout designed to help conserve energy during World War II, in March of 1942. The interior of the head and crown, looking northwest. A view of the Statue of Liberty in Manhattan in the evening, photographed in 1961. First Lady Nancy Reagan waves to photographers in a helicopter hovering near the Statue of Liberty on the day after the Statue of Liberty centennial celebration, in July 1986. A view looking up a spiral staircase in the statue's interior. The Tribute in Light Memorial shines behind the Statue of Liberty on March 11, 2002. a nose and mouth detail with a worker named Isabel Hill holding a scale stick during restoration work in March 1985. An aerial view of the statue in Liberty Island, taken in October 2015.